Okay, so here we are on the final leg to Corvo. We are pretty much getting there. It's now 16:42 Zulu time. I'm going to take a note of that in the flight log, and it should take us 6 minutes on a straight line. It's going to take a little bit more because we're going to do that approach leg. So here we go. Start going there towards the left, and as I said, when we get to about 20 miles, then we're going to go on the 500 feet per minute descent. Garmin will give you some calculations here, and we're going to be doing some of that in a minute or so. So now we're going to concentrate on flying the plane and making everything is fine. So we're going to start putting away all the things we don't need, and we're going to start concentrating on flying the plane actually. So according to the VNAV profile, in about 10 seconds we should start our descent. We're going to drop to 4,600 feet. I'm going to use 600 feet per minute, 500 feet per minute as a profile, and we're going to go to 4,600 feet. You'll see that here on 4,600 feet, 500 feet per minute. We're going to throttle back a little bit, and yeah, don't need the mixture to be so lean. And we're going to throttle back a bit to get about 100 knots of airspeed. And as on this final leg, as always, a few pictures. Now that's the Corvo Island, that's where we're going to land. It's the smallest of all the islands. It's only 17 square meters, I think. About 400 people live there. It's got an interesting story. It was one of the islands that used to be attacked by pirates. There's a lot of stories about the resisting pirates in the 1600s. They suffered several disembarkment attempt from pirates, and basically they all were thrown out by the locals. And there's even a book for children, I believe, on that topic, and it's probably worth reading how the pirates got their ass kicked. Okay, so now we're starting our descent to Corvo. And we're going to be concentrating on mostly flying the plane and make sure that we get a good finish to the day. We're just over 4 hours of flight. And we're descending smoothly to where we should be. Got about 7 minutes to go there, and then we're going to be doing that profile. Okay. Now at this stage, if you're flying a real plane, you're going to be thinking about which runway you're going to land, the altitudes, the local altimeter setting, making sure everything is in place. There's no stuff around, that the autopilot is disconnected in due time, that the mixture is rich, that there's enough fuel, and basically I'm going to turn on the landing lights already, so before I forget, and that everything is in its place. Okay, we'll be doing the full flap landing, so we'll be slowly adding flaps on the final glide slope, and it's a bit of flying rather than too much talking. Okay, so 6 minutes from that point. GNAV. It's programmed to fly that profile, and we're going to take it from there. Okay, so we're getting to the waypoint Corvo. We're going to be turning left to Charlie Romeo 474, and then this is going to lead us to the RNAV approach runway 29 at Corvo. We already start thinking about our final descent. We need to do the next 10 miles. We need to drop 2,000 feet at 500 feet per minute. That's 4 minutes. So we're going to start descending right now to 2,000 feet, and we're going to be doing that at about 500 feet per minute. As we start moving, let's see if we can see something. There's an island there, so if we are lucky, we should be able to do the approach nicely. We're going to be going into IMC right now, so any moment now. And just to give you a feel of what we're doing, that is the approach we're going to be doing. And we're just going to continue our descent. Charlie Romeo 474. We need to be about 2,000 feet, and then we have 6 miles until Charlie Romeo 475 before we start thinking about descending. So let's see how this works out. Of course, this is very helpful having the autopilot linked with the Garmin 1000. Will you explain? It would be a bit more workload intensive if you were flying on your own, or if you're flying with somebody else, it would be very helpful to have somebody next to you to call out the procedure. So as we make our way on the final descent, we start thinking about everything we need to do, and let's just leave it until we get to 2,000 feet, and then we'll configure the plane for a final descent. So right now it's interesting. We have a winds calm, and we got a crosswind from our left, 13 knots, which is within the limits of a Cessna 172. And I'm just going to go and double check that. So we have as reference the wind at Flores. Obviously it's not going to be the same thing here, so we get a slight tailwind with a 11 knots crosswind, so we are fine. If we see that the tailwind component is much more than that, then we will decide whether we do a go around and try to land on the other hand using a right hand turn circuit. So we are a couple of miles off from Charlie Romeo 474. We're going to be at 2,000 feet. And then the plan is, when we are 3 miles from Charlie Romeo 476, we start our descent. 3 miles from Charlie Romeo 476. So we've got landing lights on, all electrics are on, autopilot running now, and we're about to get to Charlie Romeo 474, and it's going to be a 6 mile and take Charlie Romeo 475. So we're gonna level out here 2,000 feet. Slow down the plane a bit, maybe to about 90 knots, don't need much more than that. And we're still not visual, so for now we're gonna continue the approach. Tailwind seems to be increasing. It's a bit variable, so problem here at Corvo is that you don't have a weather station and you need to go and see what's happening in Flores, which is 15 miles or 10-15 miles away, and Flores is looking variable, 1 knot, light rain and broken 400, so I wonder what we're gonna find out here. But anyway, we carry on our approach and we'll see how we get on. We have plenty of fuel to fly to an alternate, whether it's Flores or Horta. Of course, it's gonna suck if we're gonna have to fly back to Horta, which is another hour or so. But I'm pretty confident that if we don't make it at Corvo, that Flores should be okay. We need to get out the approach plates for Corvo, for Flores, and see how we go about doing that. But for now, carry on with the approach. So we are now a mile away, a mile and a half away from Charlie Romeo 475. Our final approach into Corvo runway 29er. Tailwind 7 knots and variable crosswinds between 8 and 10, we'll see. And once we go past Charlie Romeo 475, when we're 2.9 or 3 miles out from Charlie Romeo 476, we'll start our descent to 1,000 feet. At which point we will decide what to do next. Okay, we'll be going on that 3-degree glide slope at about 400 feet per minute. Okay, so we're now at the Charlie Romeo 475, and we're going to start thinking about descending. And we're going to go to 1,000 feet, and we're going to go 400 feet per minute. It's a glide slope, and we're going to cut back the engine a bit because we're going way too fast. And when we get into wide arc, we'll give it a bit of flaps to give it some drag. Yeah, that's what the plane does. It pitches up. And give it another notch of flaps. You can see the airspeed dropping with the resistance, the airspeed. And we're going to go and give it a bit of thrust, a bit of power on the engine. And we're gonna go full flaps, planes trimming with the autopilot, getting slow on the speed. I'm gonna give it some throttle. We want to be there in around 60 knots. We're dropping to, we need to be at 1,000 feet and decide if we carry on the approach. Right now it's looking that it's not going to happen. We still have 500 feet to go. Decision height is 1,000 feet, so we're going through the clouds. Slight tailwind, 7 knots crosswind. Okay, landing lights are on, everything is looking good. The only thing is no runway in sight. So when we get to 1,000 feet, we'll decide whether we break off the approach, which would be full power level aircraft, and then we would go and turn left to Flores. Still no runway in sight. We're at our decision height and we're not getting any joy here. 900 feet, so missed approach, full power, pitch up. We're gonna maintain and start retracting the flaps. Disconnect the autopilot and then start taking a left turn. Pitch up 10 degrees. Basically we're gonna go towards Flores. Okay, it's a shame Corvo is not in sight. Let's climb to 4,300 feet, which is the published approach altitude. Stream the plane. Whoops, don't let the nose drop. Okay, so plane is climbing away and we're gonna go on this heading. Gonna change the heading a bit. Oh, shame we didn't manage to land in Corvo. But anyway, that's the way it is. See what we do next. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna search for Flores and the approach to runway 36. We're gonna go straight to Santa Cruz, frequency 1107. Some stupid reason this has changed again. So we're gonna go and VOR1, and we're gonna go and that's where Santa Cruz is exactly. And let's just reduce the rate of climb a little bit, and we are 10 miles from Santa Cruz. Right, so the procedure for Santa Cruz is as follows. I'm gonna show you very quickly. So we are
controlled airspace 1,800 feet above.
Okay, so we're going through here. We're gonna go direct to Delta Sierra Charlie, and then we're gonna go for 10 miles on heading 170. Then we're gonna turn right to heading 002, and then follow the profile 2,700 feet at 8.5, and then it's one of the good things about doing instrument rating is you know what to do next if you need to. So right now we are going at this altitude. Actually, we're going to level off at 4,000 feet. And we're going to adjust our heading slightly to the left. So we know we need to be at 5,000 feet if we need to do a holding pattern over Santa Cruz, left-hand holding pattern. We're not going to do that because we don't need to. We're just going to go direct to Santa Cruz, and then we're going to go for 10 miles on radial 170, and then we start turning. Okay, so let's see. Oops, bit of silly turbulence there. And we've got Santa Cruz VOR 7 nautical miles on inbound 218, and then as soon as we are over Santa Cruz we're going to go 170, track 170 for 10 miles, and then a right turn to intercept 002. See how we get on, see if we can land in Flores. Otherwise we're gonna have to fly to Horta, and that's gonna be another hour. But that's fine. That's a good airmanship to protect, to do the right thing. So we're breaking one of the rules that we shouldn't be doing, which is we are not at 4,300 feet. So let's climb to 4,500 feet. And let's not make that a regret. You can see Flores over there.
Controlled airspace 1,000 feet above.
This is just the radio we're in, and As we get close to the VOR, it starts getting a bit more sensitive. Back a bit. Let's go 170. And we're going to set it up for intercepting radio 002. Actually, this wasn't a very well executed maneuver. We are not where we're supposed to be, so we're gonna have to be careful with that. We're gonna correct that. Going left until we get the VOR on our back. we can start descending to 2,500 feet. Got the engine a little bit, and we know we have to intercept radian 002. Start turning right. So at 8.5 miles we need to start descending at a 3-degree glide path. So we're just gonna wait for that VOR needle to start moving, and then we're gonna intercept it.
Controlled airspace 800 feet below. Controlled airspace 600 feet below. Airfield 5.5 miles ahead, 2,200 feet below. Controlled airspace 100 feet below. Airfield 3.5 miles ahead, 1,600 feet below.
The decision height here is 1,100 feet. So again, we're going to go to that altitude and see if we manage to get a visual. We are not where we should be. Still no runway in sight, so shame. Okay, 1,000 feet. Snow, whoops, hang on. Nope, still no runway. Let's get out of here, full power. And let's climb and take a right turn. Switch off the autopilot. So first things first, let's stabilize this. Let's fly this heading and let's fly an altitude.
Controlled airspace 3,800 feet above.
That's 2 missed approaches today. So let's try the approach into Corvo again. This time we're going to stay here at 2,000 feet. So what previously looked quite good, that the weather is going to be a bit better than we expected, ended up being a bit frustrating and not very well executed maneuver around Flores. But let's have another go at Corvo. I'll show you in the end what that means. SkyDemon is recording the flight path, so we'll see what that looked like. Right now we're just gonna maintain this altitude, and in fact we could go straight to Charlie Romeo 474. Let's go to Charlie 474. We know we need to be there at 2,000 feet. Be flying just top of the clouds, and let's see if we can make it work this time. Otherwise, we're just gonna fly to Orta. Port is not looking very good as well, but let's see about that. was a beginner's mistake, not setting the altimeter to the local QNH. Good learning point. Okay, now turning to Charlie Romeo 476. Let's start programming our descent to about 400 feet per minute. And watch your flaps. Flaps. Right, so we are 1 mile from Charlie Romeo 476, just about to touch 1,200 feet, 60 knots, full flaps, and hopefully this time we're gonna get a glimpse of the runway, which is 4 miles away. So we're gonna try to descend below 1,000 feet and see if we can get a look at the runway. The wind right now is calm, 1 headwind, 3 crosswinds. The altimeter is set correctly, and we're gonna carry on descending. Okay, we're under 1,000 feet. We should be doing a missed approach right now. Gonna hold off just a little bit. We still don't see anything. doing an RNAV approach, so let's keep that in mind. We're 2 miles off Corvo, 800 feet, still nothing in sight. There's no ILS here, so it's looking really tough right now. And there it is. There it is, Corvo. Yep, 600 feet. Let's disconnect the autopilot. Probably should have done this the first time around with the correct altimeter setting and managing a little bit the risk. However, that didn't work out. So runways ahead, wind is calm. Runway slopes slightly uphill, so we're going to have to be careful with that. Bit of right foot to get us on the runway center line. And here we go, touchdown. Bit bouncy. Let it roll a bit. Okay, and landed at 17:43 Zulu time. So that puts us at just over 5 hours of flight. Now we're gonna park. Just go and park and shut down the aircraft, do the paperwork, and welcome to Corvo. You can retract the flaps right now. Right, and that completes the flying of the Dawn to Dusk challenge. So we've landed at 17:44 and on the brakes on at 17:44. We're going to be shutting down at 17:45, landed at 17:42 approximately. So that puts us in 5 hours and 3 minutes of flight, which is great. And just in case you're wondering, well, let's just shut down the aircraft first. What you would do, you would get all the electrics and strobes, nav, all of that, and then you just cut the mixture, engine stops, and you mix ignition off and everything off. You would put the parking brake on, 17:45, and just in case you're wondering what was that all about that we did, Sky Demon is showing us that is is what we did. We came in, okay, went there, Corvo, missed approach, tracked Flores instead of tracking Santa Cruz, then messed up the whole thing, didn't intercept, missed approach, got out, and then intercepted one of the waypoints down the line, and then went under the decision altitude and landed. Okay, 5 hours 15, 5 hours 10, something like that. And which leads us here to the final bit, which is the to thank you all for all the time. I know there's a half a dozen of you that has been very brave and were throughout the whole flight, even with the missed approaches, so thanks very much for that. I'm exhausted. It was a long flight, 5 hours flying and talking and putting music and all of that. Thanks for everybody. And we're just gonna put some music to sign off. And thank you very much. Remember, you can donate, sponsor, or support this flight in the future. Just drop me an email if you want. Thank you. Bye.
Ainda sinto os pés no terreiro que meus avós palhavam o pezinho. A bela aurora e a sapateia é que nas veias corre-me basalto negro e na lembrança vulcões e terremotos. Por isso é que eu sou das ilhas de bruma, onde as gaivotas vão beijar a terra. Por isso é que eu sou das ilhas de bruma, onde as gaivotas vão beijar a terra. Se no falar trago a dolência das ondas, o olhar é a doçura das lagoas, é que trago a ternura das hortênsias, no coração a ardência das caldeiras. Por isso é que eu sou das ilhas de bruma, onde as gaivotas vão beijar a terra. Por isso é que eu sou das ilhas de bruma, onde as gaivotas vão beijar a terra. Trago o roxo, a saudade, esta amargura. Só o vento ecoa mundos na longura, mas trago o mar imenso no meu peito e tanto verde a indicar mais esperança. Por isso é que eu sou das ilhas de bruma, onde as gaivotas vão beijar a terra. Por isso é que eu sou das ilhas de bruma, onde as gaivotas vão beijar a terra. É que nas veias corre-me basalto negro, no coração a ardência das caldeiras. O mar imenso me enche a alma, tenho verde, tanto verde a indicar.